If you are essentially speaking in somebody's love language, primary love language, but doing it in a way that is like exactly the opposite of what they want, then it's like using their love language against them. In this video, we want to talk to you about a concept that we are calling the flip side of love languages. Now, love languages, there's 5 of them. There was a book written by Gary Chapman.
Great book.
In fact, I think I have it on our bookshelf here. Mike, look.
I'm sure you do.
Here it is.
There it is.
Here, hold up to the camera. Whoa, there we are.
Excellent
The 5
book.
Love Languages by Gary Chapman is an excellent book, and a lot of people are familiar with it. And there are 5 love languages. Let's review them really quick.
Well, the love languages are the way that we express that we care about somebody else. It doesn't have to be your spouse, girlfriend, husband, whatever. It can just be your friendships too. And we tend to express them in 5 different ways, what we feel about the person. The first one is acts of service, doing things for the person. You know, pick them up at the airport when they need a ride, that kind of thing.
Are you saying that you want me to come over and cut your lawn this weekend?
No, I'm not, Chris.
Okay, so acts of service is one. The next one is gift giving. So we all know people who love to give gifts or receive gifts. In fact, when someone performs a love language, that's usually an indication that that's the one they want.
They want return.
We have a good friend who loves to give gifts, and you know that he loves getting gifts in
We just
return.
don't give them anything. It's not
right.
our love language.
All right, so that's the second one. The third one is
Physical touch. You know, I like the idea of getting a massage from my wife. Not that it ever happens, but the whole thing of physical touch, if you have a high love language, or if that's high in your scale for your love language, then being around someone, holding hands, having them put their arm around, all of these will be important ways of receiving and giving affection.
right, and these are, you know, if you're with your buddies and they like to, you know, slap each other on
Smack
the
you,
back,
put a
stuff like
choke
that,
on,
that's physical touch. All right, next one is words of affirmation. I know that's part of my love language, and I think it is for you too. Right?
Well, you're doing a great job, Chris.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah. Words of affirmation basically means you're doing a fantastic
Thank
job.
you.
You're performing flawlessly in these videos.
Brilliant.
It's just amazing. So when you affirm somebody, you make them feel good about themselves. If that is part of their love language hierarchy, if that's high up on their hierarchy, they're going to really appreciate that.
And we recommend being honest. Don't be a flatterer. That's fake. But give them real approval when they deserve it, and they will appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But the last one is quality time.
Right. So we are spending some quality time right now recording these videos. But you might be spending quality time just with your spouse sitting on the couch, reading a book together, watching Netflix, whatever it is. Quality time together in any relationship. If that's a love language that matters to the person, that's going to matter.
Now, that's interesting because my Egyptian male cat has 2 love languages, quality time. He likes to just hang out with me in the office, and physical touch. He has to be touched. If he doesn't get touched, he gets anxious.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so why are these important? Well, let's think about it from an NLP and hypnosis perspective, because that's how we come to
That's
a lot
how we
of things.
think.
If you are speaking in someone's love language, then you're going to be building rapport. And when you build rapport, there's going to be trust, there's going to be
A sense of connection.
liking. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why we do it, right? We want to have strong relationships in our lives.
Strong friendships.
So we want to go out of our
everything,
way to make it as much as possible communication that aligns with somebody else's love language.
Now, we've already said that we tend to express the language that we want. So if someone's giving gifts all the time, they're expecting gifts in return to feel better. Realize that what we tend to do is use our own love language to communicate with other people, when in reality, we need to find out what theirs is.
And so this is where we get into the idea of the flip side of love languages. What if you're not speaking in the right love language for that particular human relationship or pet relationship?
Then it becomes neutral.
Yeah.
They're not getting what they need.
My dog is literally sleeping under
Quite.
the desk in front of us here.
But they'll start to feel emotionally, you know, distraught or something. They won't be happy. How's that?
That's right.
In common English.
There's really a spectrum here that we want to discuss, and the first level of that spectrum is what we're going to call being stuck in neutral. So if you just aren't speaking in somebody else's love language in a relationship, but you don't really know about it, it's an unconscious happening. If you're not consciously aware, I should say, that you're
makes
not
more
speaking
sense.
in the correct. Yeah, that was a weird way of
Switch
saying
into
it,
English,
but I admit it, so it's okay.
That's all right.
So if you're just, let's say,
oblivious.
offering your wife massages, but she's not interested in that. She'd rather that you do the dishes or vacuum the house, then you're kind of stuck in neutral. You're not doing anything bad or evil or bad person
Just
of any
kind of
kind.
being unaware of what you could do, because the positive use of the other person's love languages, and there will typically be one or two that are main, that will have a powerful effect. If you do nothing, you're missing these opportunities, but there's a third one that's the worst one, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's the level that we're going to call the real anti-love language. So if you are essentially speaking in somebody's love language, primary love language, but doing it in a way that is like exactly the opposite of what they want, then it's like using their love language against them.
Yeah, like if somebody desperately, because they're not getting affirmation, needs affirmation, to do nothing is neutral. So they're being starved of affirmation, but it doesn't have to be affirmation. It can be any one of the 5, physical touch, whatever. But if you go even further than that and then use their love language against them, so instead of affirmation, you're berating the person, criticizing them, ripping them down. If their love language is affirmation, this is like black magic to them. It is tearing them apart and affecting them horribly.
All right, so let's do a few examples here. So imagine that somebody's love language is acts of service. Now, I am constantly, like on purpose, don't care, just leaving my laundry all over the bedroom floor. You think my wife's going to be too happy with me? No, because if her love language is acts of service and I am going out of my way to create more work, presumably for her because I'm not cleaning up after myself, I'm going to be bad guy. That's not good.
Right. And we've said that with affirmation, if you're not meeting that, it's bad enough. But if you're yelling at the person or swearing at them or insulting them, it will go very deep with them and affect them much, much more than people who do not have that as a primary love language.
Totally true. You bastard.
Shut up.
All right. Another one would be quality time. So if, let's say that somebody that you care about, their love language is quality time, and you're constantly out fishing on the weekend with your buddies, you're just completely checked out, and you know that the other person in your life wants quality time, and you're literally taking it away by planning all your quality time with someone else.
And there's another aspect to that too, Chris. You're right about that, but you can be physically present and mentally checked out. You know, if the person wants quality time, it doesn't mean just being in the same room with them and you're on your phone or watching TV zoned out or something, or listening to music and ignoring them. That's just as bad, and that's using it as a negative again.
Yeah, we could think of like if somebody wants conversation, but you're just sitting there in the same room on your iPhone scrolling through Twitter or Facebook or whatever, that is basically being mentally checked out from the conversation. Another one would be, let's say somebody likes gifts. If gift giving is your top love language, and you give the wrong sort of gift to someone, that can be very, very bad.
Right. If a woman is looking for a beautiful new dress, or you know, a trip to Hawaii as the gift,
or a massage at the local spa.
Well, now we're back to physical touch.
Well, as
so
a
I
gift.
didn't mix that
as a
for that
gift.
reason.
As a gift.
Yeah,
gift
we'll edit that out.
Yeah.
So if it's the wrong kind of gift, and instead you bought her a vacuum cleaner or a blender for Christmas, and she wanted some jewelry, that is going to send the wrong message too.
Absolutely. Or you know, if she wants you to do all the cooking because she loves acts of service, and you go out and buy her some kitchen utensils, probably you're sending the very wrong signal. And Mike, what if the person that you're involved with in a romantic relationship is interested in physical touch?
Well, physical touch might be something like a massage or sharing a hot tub together, or, you know, even reflexology on their feet.
So what would be a really bad idea?
Putting a jiu-jitsu choke on them or an arm bar, because you're presuming that you're giving them physical touch and it's going to be appropriate. It will not
So
be.
coming home and saying, honey, look at this new jiu-jitsu move that I learned, probably not the right way to express her love language of physical touch. So, with all that said, how can you use this in your life?
5 different love languages. Find out the people who are important to you, what theirs are, and use them with them, and realize that if you're doing the exact opposite, you're going to shatter that relationship if you're not careful. So my question for you is, what are your love languages? What does it take to let you know that you are being approved of, loved, feel important, and find that out, that same thing. What will you do to discover the love language of the people around you and make sure that you meet them to make great relationships even better?
Buddy, that was fantastic.
Don't touch me.
I just want to let you know I appreciate you've done a fine job in this video, and you're a true professional.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're always notified of our new videos, and go out there and learn to communicate with the people that you love most in their love languages and see what happens.